Now, managing partner for Coral Reef Innovation Hub Africa, Richard Osei, has called for full investments into artificial intelligence to control job losses. He was speaking at the launch of the AI for Youth program at the Association International School.
Our core business as Coral Reef and the hatchery is to support schools and our youth and prepare them for the future of work. If you look at the fourth industrial revolution, there are different components. Starts from IoT, AI, machine learning, cybersecurity, data analysis, and so on. So we're just launching AI for Youth today as one of the key components of the fourth industrial revolution, preparing students with an insight into AI, give them the tools that allows them to use the tools to solve local problems that an algorithm can replace, or any task, a routine task that an algorithm can replace, it will be replaced by the algorithm. Now the challenge for humans is how do you leverage these tools to be able to get the best out of what you're doing. You are scaling the human being maybe 1,000 times, and that's basically what AI. As far as jobs are concerned, automation will get rid of jobs, but innovation will replace those types of jobs. The challenge for us as a country is to provide our students with the skills that allows them to take advantage of the opportunities that innovation presents. Okay, so yes, you will lose some jobs, but the new jobs requiring new skills will be created. Machine learning, AI, ability to analyze data, Internet of Things, and so on. So the opportunities are immense. If you look around globally, about 85 million jobs that are being created. Some will be lost, but some will also be created. So it's really about alignment and providing our students and youth with the skills required to take advantage of opportunities that the technology presents.
And that's it for business. The news returns after this break.
Imagine a family without a home. Imagine a song without a voice. Imagine a church without prayers. Imagine a government without citizens. Imagine democracy without journalists. Imagine a world without the media. Life is full of issues and stories about people, communities, and governments. Stories that have to be told by well-trained journalists. That's why you can't imagine news without Joy News.
And as I wrap up on News Desk this morning, log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news there and updates of the developing stories. And as we leave you, we take you back to Takoradi, where the Mining Expo 2023 is happening, with stakeholders discussing sustainable mineral resource development and the well-being of mining communities. Many thanks for choosing us. Let's start with the Supreme Court that is being asked to impose sanctions on the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, for allowing the House to proceed with the anti-LGBT bill. Contends the Speaker has treated court processes with disdain and contempt. Dr. Odo is one of two citizens who have sued the Speaker of Parliament and the Attorney General over the anti-LGBT bill. She contends her checks show that the Speaker of Parliament has been served with all relevant court processes, including one asking the court to place an injunction on Parliament's consideration of the law. It will be recalled that Parliament last week wrapped up the second reading of the bill, bringing it a step closer to the conclusion of processes on the controversial law.
There was fireworks in Parliament when MPs debated the report of the Constitutional, Parliamentary and Legal Affairs Committee on the controversial anti-gay bill. It started off on a very cordial note with MPs on both sides agreeing that this controversial bill must be passed into law. We first heard from the MP for Asante Achem North, Andy Apia Kubi, who actually said all 275 MPs in Parliament supported the bill.
The law, as we have it now, prescribes unnatural carnal knowledge without even adding anything. So there is nothing also before us requesting of us to pass a law to allow that so far. Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy that this House of 275 members all endorsed this bill. And we are religiously going to support the bill to pass. I am speaking to the House and supporting the bill, and also indicating the support of all our members, because our membership as Ghanaians, all Ghanaians support this bill.
We then heard from the Speaker, who threw a challenge to all MPs on the floor to stand up if they were against this anti-LGBTQ bill.
Opportunity to those who are against to speak. All members are in support of the bill.
Well, no one stood up. No one in Parliament stood up in opposition to the bill. It was then that we heard from former Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak, who described the advocacy of LGBTQ as madness, and also the first Deputy Speaker, who said that the constitutional and the national life of Ghana does not support those activities.
It is very worrying that those who had been canvassing for this, for lack of better word, madness to be allowed to continue in our country, are not averting to their minds to three things. And I will always say the first thing, regardless of which other human being you are, there's something you believe. Whatever you believe, whether you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you are a Buddhist, you are a pagan, you believe in something. What has your scripture said about this? They were threatening the life of Honorable Sweeney, Sam George, and many of us who were speaking about visas to travel to their country. The Speaker, we have made them look as if going to their country is about life. The Speaker, if we were to do reciprocity, to do reciprocal of what they are doing, so that they would also be able to come into our country. Mr. Speaker, we will see those who suffer most.
Promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values. My friend, the ranking member, has quoted our constitutional duty to promote and protect our social and cultural values, an injunction by our constitution. So indeed, we are taking our responsibility under the constitution and promoting and passing this bill.
This was when things got a little bit heated on the floor, when Communications Minister Eslo Wusu, who debated, actually said that the human rights of such persons must be considered, and that she was excited that the committee had taken its time to trash out some of those issues in its report.
What we can do is to ensure that the human rights of every Ghanaian citizen are protected in line with our constitution, and that nobody is discriminated against because of their beliefs or sexual orientation.
Yes, Honorable, let's hear you.
It is incumbent on us as members of Parliament to craft a piece of legislation that is not in conflict with our constitution or existing legislation. And so I commend the committee for the extensive work that they have done to clean up the bill that was presented to us.
Legal Affairs correspondent Joseph Akable joins us with more. Joseph, is any evidence provided to support this view that the Speaker is aware of the legal processes? Hello, Joseph.
Yes, Aisha. So, in fact, what the lawyers have done, the lawyers for Dr. Amanda Odoi, what they have done is that they actually wrote to the Supreme Court's registry asking that the court provides them with evidence indicating whether the registry has been able to serve the Speaker of Parliament and Attorney General with the court processes. They obtained a proof of service that indicates that, yes, the case itself, the substantive case against the anti-LGBT bill has been served on the Speaker of Parliament through a senior legal officer at his office. They again obtained evidence indicating that it has been served on the Attorney General's office as well. With respect to the application for injunction, we also received responses from the Supreme Court registry indicating that those processes have been served on the Speaker of Parliament. We also attached to the court documents indicating publications. One of such publications is was done by myjoyonline.com, our own website, which has been attached to the court process to indicate that, yes, despite the fact that a Parliament was well aware of the legal processes, the Speaker proceeded to allow discussion on the bill to take place. And so they attached that, and in that particular story, reference is made to the fact that there are 2 pending cases in court against the anti-gay bill.
Akable, is there any specific punishment she's asking the court to impose, and when will this matter be dealt with?
He does not provide the specifics of the nature of the punishment that they believe should be imposed, except to make the point that it's important that the court stamps its authority and indicates to all Ghanaians that due process is the nature of legal processes here in Ghana, and that the Speaker of Parliament has consistently conducted himself in a manner that, as far as they are concerned, shows a clear disregard and contempt for the court and its processes. And so they want the appropriate sanctions to be imposed by the apex court of the land. He again make the point in terms of when exactly this will be dealt with. In terms of the process that has been filed, is to be dealt with on the 19th of July. Interestingly, that is the same day that they are supposed to move the application for injunction at the Supreme Court as well. It is important to state that per our checks, the Speaker of Parliament and the Attorney General are yet to file any responses to the substantive case that has been filed as well.
Joseph Akable is our legal affairs correspondent, bringing us updates on this issue. Meanwhile, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has directed that a 7-member committee will investigate the lead tape which allegedly captured a senior police officer and an MPP functionary plotting to remove IGP Dr. George Akufo-Dampare and a conspiracy to rig the 2024 election in favor of the NPP. Alban Bagbin directed that the committee must be made up of 3 members from each side of the House and then a technical person to be nominated.
Areas to submit your talents and skills to the committee for this work to be done. So I propose that we establish a committee of 7 members. 7 members. Is that okay? 7 members. Leadership will nominate 3 from each side of the House, and we'll get a technical person to add to make it 7. That's why I'm calling it a special committee, so that you investigate this matter and then submit your report. So I await the nominees from the 2 caucuses, 3 each, and then a technical person will also be nominated to assist the committee in its investigation and report to the House. I so direct. Leadership, please, within 1 week, we should get the names submitted. Because I know you have to meet your caucuses and make some consultation within 1 week.
The maker of that urgent statement, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, read the committee's terms of reference.
Pursuant to your directive on the floor yesterday, under Order 72 of the Standing Orders of Parliament, further to my request on the matter of urgent public interest for Parliament to probe into the authenticity and contents of a leaked audio recording in the public domain that raises serious issues of great public concern. Honourable Speaker, because of the time, I will ask the Hansard Department to capture the full text of my statement so that I can focus on the terms as you have stated. Honourable Speaker, I submit this statement for your kind attention, seeking to invoke the appropriate standing orders of the House and other relevant legislation for a bipartisan investigation either by a special committee of the House or Committee of Defense and Interior into this all-important matter. The terms of reference of this investigation will be to establish the following: the authenticity of the leaked audio recording investigate the conspiracy to remove the current Inspector General of Police, investigate other matters contained in the audio recording, and recommend sanctions to persons found culpable where appropriate, and make recommendations for reforms where necessary. And 6, make such other recommendations and consequential orders as the committee may deem appropriate. Right, Honorable Speaker, I hereby submit for your kind consideration. Thank you.
The Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice says it will invite former Environment Minister Professor Kwabena Frimpong to assist with its investigations into allegations of politically connected individuals stifling the Galamsey fight. This follows a response from the Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo, informing the Commission he does not have any evidence to provide. The legislator petitioned Traj to investigate the matter following widespread publication of the report with focus on how key government and politically connected individuals stifle the fight against illegal mining.
Professor Frimpong himself is the best person to make available these details. We have responded to the letter, and Prof has indicated his willingness to appear before the commission and answer to questions. So I believe that once he's invited to speak to the matter, you will have documents to adduce to support the claims that he made in the report that he issued to the office of the president, which is the subject of the petition. Then the indication I get is that they are waiting for these documents before they make progress. That indeed that is the tenor of the last paragraph of the letter. So I have responded appropriately by saying that they can proceed with the matter, and from what he says in the documents and the other materials that they want from me, and so he will provide them.
Traj says it is going ahead to probe the matter despite admitting there are practical difficulties.
Gave the list of the areas of interest in terms of evidence that we think, if they have it, they should make it available to the commission. It took a while. I think that letter has been with them for well over 3-4 weeks. Until now, we have, that is if I remember, a response from them. But of course, I want to assure Ghanaians that the Commission is investigating this complaint irrespective of whether the complainant is able to assist or not. But it is a duty of every complainant, if you actually have a case before the Commission, to be seen to be interested in supporting the Commission with any evidence that could be available to you. So that is the angle from which the letter written to them was given. And so I must say that we're doing a lot. We've reached out to a number of state institutions, expecting them to forward to us evidence of what we also expect from the complainant as well. There's nothing wrong with having the opportunity to look at all possible evidence and all nuances of the evidence in order to make the findings that we think we would have to make. So we have done a lot for now.
I mean, in terms of their response to you, they specifically make the point that Professor Frimpong has what you need, and he's already publicly indicated that he authored those documents. Am I to understand that the individuals that you intend to invite, or those you have already invited, does it include Professor Frimpong?
As I told you, we don't do that. We don't normally want to do this in the media. But of course, if the good old Prof has got information for us on aspects of the complaint, we will reach out to him. But you see, there is an aspect of the complaint we need complainants to appreciate. In addition to the report by Frimpong, the complainants have made specific allegations against Professor Frimpong Boateng himself on allegations of corruption and the missing excavators and others. You don't expect that. That means that in the context of the allegations against Frimpong Boateng, in the eyes of the commission, becomes a respondent. And so we can't be asking Frimpong Boateng to come and give evidence against himself. We must get that evidence external of Frimpong Boateng. So the areas that we may need Frimpong Boateng will be areas that have no allegations against him, but for which he has the evidence to support.
I mean, so it means that at this stage, there's the possibility that you call upon him at some point in time.
Definitely. Especially in regard to the areas, one, that he can support the commission with evidence about his own report, and possibly reach out to him as a respondent in respect of the allegations made specifically against him in the area of corruption and the excavators.
I mean, in terms of that allegation, how would you be investigating it? I mean, clearly they did not give you any evidence with regards to that specific one.
That is why we wrote to them, to appreciate the need to give further and better particulars, because Frimpong Boateng cannot give evidence against himself.
I mean, are you able to give us a sense of how many people you are looking at, or how many institutions, for instance, you've also written to? Because it's the petition that was sent to you broadly says that all the named officials in it, as against a petition that ordinarily would have targeted specific names written on the documents.
At this stage, I would not want to go into the details of the investigation. Suffice it that we have written to a number of state institutions to provide evidence. Those people who will be respondents, we are also going to reach out to them. Don't forget, we need the evidence first to ascertain that there is a basis for us to contact the other people who will become respondents. In the absence of any evidence beyond what they have given to us, we need further information or evidence to be able to say the named persons in Frimpong Boateng's report, there is enough basis for us to require a response from them. That is why we are still at this angle of the investigation.
I mean, in terms of your procedure, I know that mostly what you tend to do is when you receive a petition, you do a determination to see that whether this is a matter that falls within your ambit. Am I to understand that you've already crossed that hurdle already?
We've crossed that.
A Kumasi High Court failed to take the plea of a police inspector standing trial for the alleged murder of his girlfriend at a dome in Kumasi, as lawyers for the accused failed to show up in court. Inspector Ahmed Chumesi, also known as Tycoon, was appearing before the High Court for the first time as an Asokore Mampong District Court committed him for trial last month. Then battled the inspector accused of shooting his girlfriend Victoria Dapa, a mother of one, multiple times with a police service rifle, has been charged with murder by the Attorney General. My colleague Ohemen Teria has been following that story for us and now reports.
Hearing didn't go the way we expected. I was the only woman among the relatives, including our family head and 3 other men. We were just 5 available in court. I'll plead with you journalists to continue following the case for us. People say this case won't go anywhere.
26 July,
These were the words of a disappointed relative of 27-year-old Victoria Dapa, also known as Majwa. The mother of one was allegedly murdered by her boyfriend, Inspector Ahmed Chumesi of the Central Police Command in Kumasi. Victoria was shot 6 times on April 20, 2023. The accused person was last month committed to stand trial at the Kumasi High Court on murder charges slapped on him by the Attorney General. Inspector Ahmed Chumesi, also known as Tycoon, made his maiden appearance on Thursday before the Kumasi High Court, presided by Justice Rosemary Batusu. But the hopes of scores of relatives of the deceased to witness proceedings were dashed when sitting started earlier than anticipated. The court was, however, forced to adjourn because counsel for the accused, Ernest Aye, did not show up. This also means the plea of the accused could not be taken. The court's attempt to empanel a jury for the trial of the police inspector had to be put on hold. Some disappointed relatives continue to agitate for speedy adjudication to serve the deceased and her family with justice.
As a mother, I ask for justice for Majwa, who left behind a 3-year-old daughter. For the sake of this small girl, justice should prevail. This case is in the interest of all women. Justice served is justice for all women.
Meanwhile, hearing has been scheduled for July 26, 2023 at 12 noon. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Parliamentary reporting.
Let's now take you live to Takoradi, where the Ghana Mining Expo 2023 is currently underway. Stakeholders are to discuss sustainable mineral resource development and the well-being of mining communities. The president is billed to address the gathering.
So, with all that has happened and the contribution of the Bank of Ghana, and I have the pleasure to invite the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, to share with us. Thank you.
The MC took me by complete surprise. I wasn't expecting to be called so early. But it's really great to be here. Mr. Chairman, I would like, Agabatu, I hope I don't mess your name up, Agabatu Wajan, the Paramount Chief of JIRAD, Honorable Minister of Land and Natural Resources, the Honorable Sam Jinapo, the Deputy Minister of Lands, the Honorable Miriku Duke, and my own old school friend, the Honorable Western Regional Minister, Abna Ochri Daku Mensah, CEO of the Chamber of Mines, Mr. Antoine Montmillon, the CEO of Metalo, who I had the opportunity to have a brief meeting with yesterday. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to be part of this important Ghana Gold Expo event today. Let me thank the Western Regional Coordinating Council, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and their respective partner organizations for the invitation to speak on the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchasing program as we celebrate this year's mining week. It really feels like coming back home to Takoradi, as we know. The name Addison is synonymous with Takoradi, for those of you who know. And I'm really happy to be here to see many old friends, including the MC, who's also a product of the school. I knew him very well in those days. Ladies and gentlemen, even though the gold standard ended at the turn of the 20th century, the importance of gold has not diminished. Gold has remained an important reserve asset and is still widely held by central banks across the world. Among others, the allure of gold as an important reserve asset for many central banks is due to its diversification benefits and its durability as a store of value and hedge against inflation, as well as its ability to act as a buffer against financial instability, particularly in a weakening global economic environment with high uncertainty outlook. Ghana has mined gold for over 3 centuries, and for the most part, the gold has been exported in doré form. Between 2018 to 2020, gold production constituted 7% of our GDP, employed about 200,000 workers, with the artisanal small-scale sector contributing about 37% of total gold production. In 2019, Ghana was cited as the largest producer of gold in Africa and the 6th largest in the world by the World Gold Council, and 70 tons of gold to back their reserves. Ghana's gold holdings at the central bank stood at 8.7 tons, as has been the case for central banks, for the bank before the Bank of Ghana commenced its domestic gold purchase program. We have thought about evaluating methods of increasing the country's reserves beyond the traditional sources, foreign direct investment portfolio, as usual, as well as the traditional proceeds from the cocoa and mining sectors. The decision was taken at that time to increase our gold reserves by purchasing domestic gold reserves using our own local currency, the cedi. Based on this, the bank developed the responsible gold sourcing supply chain for the program is transparent and traceable, and also meets the sustainability and best practice requirements. The bank also engaged an independent assessor to conduct due diligence on prospective suppliers of doré gold. Key stakeholders in the gold value chain, including the Minerals Commission of Ghana, the Precious Minerals Marketing Company, and the Ghana Chamber of Mines, were all engaged to ensure that the planned purchases did not conflict with mines' pre-existing sales contracts and commitments. In June 2021, the bank formally launched the domestic gold purchasing program and started converting a domestic asset into a foreign asset through the purchase of locally produced gold. The key objectives of the program included increasing our FX reserves, diversifying the reserves portfolio, fostering confidence in our economy, and then leveraging our gold holdings to raise cheaper sources of financing to provide short-term foreign exchange liquidity. The bank's DGPP goes through properly structured steps in turning non-monetary gold into monetary gold. To begin with, gold is sourced from 3 channels, namely the mining firms, the aggregators, and the PMNC. The first 2 purchasing channels, that is the mines, are foreign exchange reserves of the gold for oil program. Through the mining firms channel, the bank engages the domestic mining firms in collaboration with the Ghana Chamber of Mines to buy pre-agreed quantities of refined gold at their LBMA certified refineries. Under the aggregator channel, doré gold is purchased from identifiable approved gold aggregator, the PMNC, the official government assayer, and then stored in the bank vault and intermittently shipped to an LBMA certified refinery to create the gold into the required international standard of gold delivery. The third and final channel where the doré gold is purchased from licensed small-scale miners through the PMMC has been targeted mainly to the gold for oil program. The launch of the DGPP was to double the central bank's reserves of 8.7 tons in 5 years. I'm happy to announce that since the inception of the program, the Bank of Ghana has added over 7.7 tons of monetary gold to the gold reserves as of June 30th this year. And we are well on
Welcome back to the news. To the rest of our stories, construction of a health facility initiated by the Assembly member for KO electoral area in the Kumasi metropolis has been abandoned for almost 5 years. The clinic situated at the Krobodumasi market has been left for occupation by squatters as the community yearn for increased access to health care. There's more in this report.
A former assembly member of Keo electoral area, Alexander Safokese, initiated the construction of a clinic and police station in 2018. He self-financed the project in fulfillment of a promise to residents while he was campaigning to go to the assembly. The KMA, acknowledging the importance of the projects, prioritized the police station and reimbursed the assemblyman to take over the project. However, the one-story building serving as a clinic has been left to rot after the assembly member lost his seat. Second-hand clothes sellers now use part of the structure for trading. But the traders are anxious to see the completion of the health facility to support their health needs.
The risks involved in our operations is high. The hospital could have given us first aid.
I don't think she anytime in case I cause no serious.
The abandoned clinic also serves as an apartment for some, and other food vendors have turned the space as a abode to prepare their food. A corn miller also occupies part of the structure for business, and at the back of the structure are scattered cooking utensils. The squatters say the rooms get flooded anytime it rains. They fear the building would collapse with no intervention.
This is where we sleep, but it gets flooded anytime it rains. The building looks weak, and we fear for our lives.
The clinic, when completed, would serve thousands of traders who ply their trade at the enclave, as well as the residents. Some traders who spoke to Love News say completion of the facility will reduce the stress of access and health care at Menshia Government Hospital.
Dr. Mensa Hospital
There's no hospital at Dr. Mensa. The assembly member was a man of vision for such projects. They have commissioned the police station, but the hospital is left out.
The former assembly member is eager to see the facility completed. Though he has committed resources to the project, Alexander Safokese says the facility belongs to the people. He has appealed to the Member of Parliament for Menshia South, Dr. Matthew Pokuprempe, to help complete the facility.
We finished the ground floor, so it was left with the first floor. And we floored the building, we plastered the ground floor, we did what do you call it, terrazzo, and we did all the windows. So basically the ground floor was done. It was finished. That they could have used it if they wanted to use it. But it was left with the wards, that is female and male wards. In terms of people delivering the baby or minor surgeries, they could have done it there. And it happens to be my own money, you know, my own funding, and MP's funding too. So I urge the MP to come to my aid, or to the people's aid. It's not mine. It belongs to the people, okay? It belongs to the KO, the people of KO, and for that matter, Menshia South, because everybody else can use it, and people coming to Menshia too. But I'm sure the MP would take care of it. I mean, I have confidence in him, and I know he's a good man. I'm sure he will come to the aid of the people. I'm very sure the MP will do it.
For Joy News, Nana Boachidankwa Kumasi.
Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Bernard Okoboy, has disclosed that his outfit has reimbursed over 1 billion Ghana cedis to health facilities in the country. In addition, claims of service providers for February 2023 are also being processed. With these payments, Dr. Bernard Okoboy stated that they are now within the 90-day window, which is the acceptable international standards for payment of health insurance claims. He made the disclosure on the first day of his 5-day off 5-day tour of the Upper West region. Joy News' Upper West regional correspondent Rafik Salam has more.
Dr. Bernard Okoboy began his 5-day tour of the Upper West region at the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, where he met with the Upper West Regional Minister, Dr. Hafiz bin Sali. He recalled with nostalgia his last visit to the region as a Deputy Minister for Health, when the region was confronted with fighting the global pandemic of the coronavirus alongside cerebrospinal meningitis (CSM). 44 persons had lost their lives as a result of CSM at the time, and urgent steps were needed to put a lid on it. Dr. Okoboy is now the Chief Executive Officer of the National Insurance Authority and is back in the region, and this time to visit and interact with stakeholders and officials of the NHIA.
Before we took over administration some 7 years ago, we had serious liabilities when it comes to arrears. This also affected what happened in the hospitals. People go to the hospital, they will tell you, instead of 4 medicines that you have to take, we have 1. People go to the hospitals, they will tell you, we've not been paid. Sometimes they take money from clients. Today, as we speak, the good news is that from January to now, we've paid over 1 billion Ghana cedis to clear almost all the arrears that we have with hospitals.
He also used the opportunity to announce some new additions to the benefit package of the health insurance scheme.
We've also added hydroxyurea, a very recently developed drug, very effective at reducing crisis occurrence in sickle cell patients and improving the quality of their lives. And then thirdly, we all know that Herceptin, a wonderful drug, is a wonderful drug which improves the chances of survival for breast cancer women. We have not stopped there. Recently, some few weeks ago, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's Excellency announced that mental disorders or diseases will now be put on the benefits package of the National Health Insurance Scheme, so that people with depression, schizophrenia, all kinds of mental diseases that end up with people walking on the streets, we now can treat them and pay for them, so that people can be brought back to society.
Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali, on his part, appealed to Dr. Okoboy to work to ensure that all 11 municipalities and districts in the region have independent officers to improve healthcare delivery in the region.
Your agency is operating in 9 out of the 11 areas we have in the Upper West region. Lambusi is still hooked to Jirapa, while the Piema Buse is also hooked to Nadoli.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Let's take a break on Joy News Desk and return with business.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Oil firm Tullow Oil says it's made significant progress in securing government's approval for the amended 10 development plan. This was captured in the company's operational statement. Here's more.
In a trading statement, report noted that it has made some changes to the plan of development for the Chineboa Inyura Ntome oil field. This was after it had some fruitful engagement with government when it comes to the redevelopment of the area. Tullow Oil also announced that it has taken measures that will help improve the efficiency and the turnaround of the field when it comes to the production of gas from the field. This has resulted to the shutdown of the FPSO of the Chineboa Inyura Ntome, which Tullow says it is also seeking to improve gas handling as well as reducing flaring going forward. Tullow says it's in discussion with government when when it comes to reaching a deal in terms of long-term gas sales agreement. According to Talo, the agreement will not only enhance energy security in Ghana, but add another revenue stream for Talo oil. For some industry watchers, all these developments will go a long way in helping turning around the fortunes of Talo oil before the end of this year in terms of crude production and gas. Talo Oil believes it has been able to implement several strategies that will put the oil exploration firm on strong footing before the end of 2023.
Now, managing partner for Coral Reef Innovation Hub Africa, Richard Osei, has called for full investments into artificial intelligence to control job losses. He was speaking at the launch of the AI for Youth program at the Association International School.
Our core business as Coral Reef and the hatchery is to support schools and our youth and prepare them for the future of work. If you look at the fourth industrial revolution, there are different components. Starts from IoT, AI, machine learning, cybersecurity, data analysis, and so on. So we're just launching AI for Youth today as one of the key components of the fourth industrial revolution, preparing students with an insight into AI, give them the tools that allows them to use the tools to solve local problems that an algorithm can replace, or any task, a routine task that an algorithm can replace, it will be replaced by the algorithm. Now the challenge for humans is how do you leverage these tools to be able to get the best out of what you're doing. You are scaling the human being maybe 1,000 times, and that's basically what AI. As far as jobs are concerned, automation will get rid of jobs, but innovation will replace those types of jobs. The challenge for us as a country is to provide our students with the skills that allows them to take advantage of the opportunities that innovation presents. Okay, so yes, you will lose some jobs, but the new jobs requiring new skills will be created. Machine learning, AI, ability to analyze data, Internet of Things, and so on. So the opportunities are immense. If you look around globally, about 85 million jobs that are being created. Some will be lost, but some will also be created. So it's really about alignment and providing our students and youth with the skills required to take advantage of opportunities that the technology presents.
And that's it for business. The news returns after this break.
And as I wrap up on News Desk this morning, log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news there and updates of the developing stories. And as we leave you, we take you back to Takoradi, where the Mining Expo 2023 is happening, with stakeholders discussing sustainable mineral resource development and the well-being of mining communities.